The next item, oh, by the way, some of you probably have homework to do or something, and even though it's an exciting meeting, you may want to just mosey on home. So you can volunteer to stay, or you can volunteer yourselves right out of the meeting room at this point, to be fair. Thank you all for coming tonight. So, Dr. Pilch, the next item is the Counselor Corps grant update, and this is good news for us.
It is, Mr. DeWitt. Thank you. So this is a grant that when I arrived in District 6, we didn't have. And I'm looking at District 6, and I'm thinking, we should have a Counselor Corps grant. If any district in the state of Colorado should have a Counselor Corps grant, District 6 should have a Counselor Corps grant. So we set about applying for a Counselor Corps grant, which is a grant that is offered through the Colorado Department of Education. And to be fair, District 6 has had it in the past, in some previous years. But the Counselor Corps grant really fits within the graduation initiatives work that you know is such an important part of our strategic plan under the Student Learning and Achievement Goal. So within the graduation initiative work, the Counselor Corps grant is a significant piece in ensuring that we can make sure every student is ready for graduation within the 4 years that they are with us for high school. And Dr. Hannaford will come to the podium, Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Education, and she'll walk through the basics of the goals of the grant and then what we've done so far this year with the grant. And it is an ongoing grant for us, and really the best is yet to come for District 6 in terms of this grant. It is a very, very important state grant in order for us to fulfill what we've promised to do in terms of graduating every student with an individual career and academic plan and college or career ready. Dr. Hannaford, I'll turn it over to you now, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to our board president, Roger DeWitt, and our wonderful school board members here tonight for giving me the opportunity to give an update on our Counselor Corps grant. The Counselor Corps grant is helping us reach our district strategic goal. That is, students will engage in a challenging, personalized, well-rounded education, preparing every student to be college and career ready with the skills needed to be successful in the community and world. So I'm not quite sure if my...
There you go.
Here it is.
Yep.
Oh, it's working now.
Good. Okay.
No, maybe not.
It is back there.
It is for us.
Okay, so specifically, the Counselor Corps grant is designed to reach 5 goals, including increase the graduation rate, decrease the dropout rate, decrease the remediation rate, decrease the student counselor ratio, and increase the college matriculation rate. This is a very robust grant that provided $59,000 during this year to audit and evaluate our counselor needs in these areas. For years 2, 3, and 4 of the grant, we will receive $640,000 annually to implement the plan that we've designed this year for those following years. During year 1 of the grant, which is considered the developmental year, we conducted an environmental audit and time task analysis of our counselors' responsibilities and their efficiencies within those roles. In addition, we surveyed students, parents, counselors, staff, building administration to further gain a systems understanding of the school's needs. Likewise, we reviewed what is considered an early warning system of student needs by looking at how we progress monitor students' attendance, behavior, and credits, and each of those are indicators of a student's on-time graduation rate. This information was crosswalked with our school's unified improvement plans so that we could further align those efforts to this grant. The grant also allowed us to contract with Zero Dropouts to advance the graduation initiative work, which has goals aligned also to our district strategic plan. A goal of the Counselor Corps grant is to decrease the counselor to student ratio so that better personalized student supports may occur. Thus, an additional 1.0 counselor will be hired at each of the following schools beginning next year and funded for 3 consecutive years: Brentwood Middle School, Franklin Middle School, Heath Middle School, Prairie Heights Middle School, Greeley Central High School, Greeley West High School, Jefferson High School, and Northridge High School will each receive an additional full-time counselor next year and for the following 3 years. Specifically, the Counselor Corps grant counselor will support the district's graduation initiative's goals and develop and implement a district-wide multi-tiered system of support, oftentimes referred to as MTSS, that is integrated with the individual school's early warning system that monitors, again, the students' attendance, behaviors, and credits so that immediate interventions may occur. As a result of the school counselor audits and environmental scans that the Counselor Corps grant provided us this year, we redesigned several district-wide processes so that more students would have an on-time graduation plan. For instance, we prioritized enrollments at both Jefferson High School as well as Gap to seniors who could graduate on time if they accessed those schools this year. We also prioritized enrollments at Jefferson Junior to provide a more immediate alternative to learning that impacted grades 7, 8, and 9. And then further, we created on-time graduation plans for every senior that was driven by the school's early warning system. And last, we agreed upon a transfer practice between secondary and elementary schools within our D6 schools and our D6 charters that would assist in reducing the instructional gaps that oftentimes can occur during a mid-year transfer. The Counselor Corps grant audit and environmental scan also helped us recognize a need to develop credit recovery programs within each of the high schools that would best leverage the use of online credit recovery. As a result, teachers in our district created proficiency-based online credit recovery courses to accelerate credit recovery within English language arts in the 9th grade and 10th grade, Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, U.S. History, and Government. So although we did develop and we implemented important steps this year, the Counselor Corps grant will allow us to implement significant steps the following year. We will implement, like I said, a district-wide MTSS intervention framework that addresses academics, social and emotional development, and college and career planning. One of our goals from this work is to decrease the failure rate by at least 3% each year in 9th and 10th grade in English language arts and math courses. Further, the Counselor Corps grant will provide us the additional counselor FTE needed to implement an on-time graduation plan for each student that aligns to the student's individual college and career aspirations. Thus, our goal is that with the class of 2021, at least 90% of students by the 10th grade will have a graduation plan aligned with their college and career aspirations, and these students will be enrolled in advanced courses and/or career and technical education courses that support their graduation plans. With our current 10th grade students, the class of 2019, 64% are taking one or more advanced courses, and 59% are taking one or more CTE courses. And again, our goal is to increase this to 90%. Our next steps leading into year 2 of the Counselor Corps grant is to hire one counselor for each of those 4 high schools and the 4 middle schools, develop an MTSS framework for each secondary school that integrates with the early warning system, and develop and implement middle and high school advisory lessons that support students' academic, social, and emotional growth. So with the additional funds from the Counselor Corps grant, we're going to be much more able to advance the work of the graduation initiative and the overall goals of our district.
Great. Thank you very much for this update. Comments or questions from board members? First of all, we're thrilled.
Yes.
Everyone always talks about the difference between successful and not so successful places in education, and it's people. And so you're bringing in these people, and you're also, at the same time, the district is increasing for many of the middle schools, the pledge from teachers to be available to each one of those students a given period of time every week. And I think what we're starting to see is we need to continue the sweat equity of having adults available and expecting to be available to those students who just need a little helping hand in getting their future in focus. Dr. Richard.
Well, I certainly agree. What an incredible asset this is to our district, and we'd have that for the next 3 years at least. What's the current ratio of student to counselors now?
So it ranges between 300 to 450 students per counselor, and the recommended ratio is 1 to 255 students.
So it at least moves us in the right direction.
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
I saw lights, and now I see no more lights. I must have dropped off somewhere during the conversation. Thank you very much for the information, and cross fingers that we continue to see additional ways of supporting. And thanks to administration for finding this money that was available to us in the district and putting it to good use.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know.
I kind of know.
Mr. DeWitt.
I was just broadening the thinking.
So I know that I'm starting to sound a bit like a broken record around resources in District 6. So, I often get asked, what about grants? Are there more grants out there? And absolutely, what my promise to you as a school board and my promise to the community is that we will go for every single grant we even have a chance to get. That is my promise to you. And grants are not how you fully fund a school district. So you see nearly $250,000 or $750,000 here, $640,000 repeated over multiple years to have these counselors in 8 of our schools. Those are real dollars. And at the end of this 3 years, there won't be another counselor core grant to backfill this. The expectation of the Colorado Department of Ed is that we find a way to sustain this, to continue this. So the only way we're going to continue this is to eliminate 8 other positions in the district that are teaching level positions, or, which we know every single person we have is working really, really hard. There aren't 8 extra people sitting out there who can just take the place of these 8 counselors, or to have new funding come into the district that would take care of these counselors ongoing. And so very proud of staff and the Graduates Initiative Committee for this work. And we're excited to launch this. And I know that they've started hiring these counselors. If they haven't gotten them all hired, they will have them all hired soon. And we're proud to have them here in the district. Thank you.
And some of us have had the opportunity to talk with these counselors just in various locations, and it's an exciting opportunity. They're excited because they're bringing a needed presence in these schools, and as Dr. Richard pointed out, we're not quite at the standard that we would like to be in terms of the accessibility of our counseling staff, but this is a shot in the arm for the program that we're going to put to good use.
Absolutely.
And frankly, I love to hear you talk more about why it is that we need to seek additional funding. Mr. Hall, I thought you were reaching for that button before I closed down the conversation. Mr. Hall.
Real short and sweet, there's always at least one teacher that we all remember somewhere in our pathway through the education system. But for some of us, we got to know our counselors pretty well. They do some pretty heavy lifting that I don't think the general public realizes. But if they would just remember back, if we can, they were there for somebody for everybody at some time. And so this is tremendous news. This is tremendous news. So I thank you guys very much.
Great.